What's good, YouTube? This your man Spill Dog. Man, I think Teo, I think Teo is moving up to 147 after his next fight, if I'm not mistaken. But if I was looking at Brian Norman Jr. and I've been hearing his father on Mill City a lot, but I mean, him and Greg Hackett, they was talking about Brian Norman and Boots fighting again. To me, I honestly think if I'm Brian Norman Sr., I would like to see his next two fights be Mario Barrios and maybe Teofimo Lopez or the winner of Devin and Ryan. I think two fights like that is the best direction for Brian Norman to go in before he get in a big fight with Jerron Ennis, because in my mind, what would be the rush? He could make good money fighting Mario Barrios and Teofimo or Devin Ryan, the winner of that fight, when they had a fight in October, and make good money and get a lot of experience. Like I said, I think he's 23 years old. He need to build his name up. I feel like Atlanta should be trying to pump him up more, and I think eventually somebody get the noise behind him in the city. But I think if they do it right, he could be a real big time fighter by the time he's 27, 28 years old. I wouldn't be rushing him into these big mega fights with guys who done took their time and 28, 29 years old and got their experience, because just look how old Boots was before he finally got a title. Brian Norman got his title at least 5, 6 years earlier, I think, than Boots was when he won his. And I'm just saying that to make a point of, they let Boots see he done seen pretty much every style already. So now that he's champion, he ready. He ready for any and everybody that you line him up with, because they progressed him at the right rate. They didn't rush him into big fights. They let him completely develop so they can maximize his potential when he get in these big fights. And I think the same thing. If I would take my fighter in the same direction. When Brian Norman won that championship, they brought him in there to lose. He wasn't supposed to win that fight that night, but he rose to the occasion, and now he the champion. He kind of messed up a lot of people's plans. So the fact that they weren't trying to put him in that spot to begin with, if he getting there with a much more popular fighter, and it's a close fight, he could get robbed. So he need to be in there with people that's that's right there on the right level, that he can get a fair shake on the scorecards with too. And I don't think he's gonna be going to the scorecards though. I really believe it's gonna take guys like Boots Ennis or somebody to go 12 rounds with Brian Norman. I think he finna be knocking these dudes out. What I saw, the way that jab looked, and when he throw his big shots behind it, and his mentality, his conditioning, he gonna be knocking dudes out. These dudes gonna be going to sleep fighting him. So it's not gonna be a whole lot of 12 round decisions. I don't see him as that type fighter. I think if they move him right, this dude gonna be the real deal. I like his attitude. I like his mentality. And once again, I left Atlanta 9 years ago. So because I was like, damn, how on earth did I not hear him when I was in Atlanta where he was a kid? That's why I didn't. And I'm glad that he fought a guy like Cuevas, and especially with his first fight coming off an injury, and people saying, well, Cuevas wasn't this or wasn't that. Well, he was ranked number 7, but let's take that off the table. Regardless, he treated him like he wasn't that. If that's the case, he got him up out of there in 3 rounds. The only time when you want to mention a guy ain't this, ain't that, is if they went 12 rounds. I don't have no problem with if a guy if you knocking dudes out, don't make no difference to me. It's a problem if a guy ain't necessarily the level you say he's supposed to be on for him to be fighting, and they go 12 rounds, and he in there struggling. He went in there and dominated that fight. That let me know this dude the real deal. Cuevas ain't no cherry like that. That dude can fight. And that's another thing. Everybody that's all the good fighters ain't popular. And just because a guy might have a loss or two on his resume, don't mean that guy ain't solid or real competition. I mean, sometimes we get a little overboard with this. Oh man, he got lost. He got 2, 3 losses. Who he lose to? Sometimes that's what matter. If you lose to high caliber fighters, some guys ain't got no losses because they ain't fighting nobody. Some of these dudes ain't taking no risks. So, I mean, Brian Norman, he was in a risky fight when he got the title. The man got a right to do what everybody else do at his age, build on his legacy, and get himself ready for them real big fights. Cause there's levels to this shit in boxing, and anybody who really been around it know, once you get to the top of the top, you better be ready when you get in there. Cause them dudes ain't getting knocked out, and they have seen every style out there and know how to control it. So you got to be ready when you get up there fighting them guys, them real high caliber fighters. It's truly levels to this boxing thing. I think Brian Norman Jr., if his dad don't talk himself into something, hey, I like what Brian Norman Sr. doing. He's smart. It don't matter whether you like him or don't like him. He's trying to build his son's name up. I ain't got nothing but respect for that. I just hate sometimes when people take what the father say out on the son. He can't control his daddy, so you can't never blame them for that. But I like what I see out of Brian Norman Jr. I think he gonna be a real champion. I think once I don't think he gonna be out here ducking and dodging smoke neither. I really don't. Boots is just like Boots said the other day. He locked in. He got a fight with Stanionis, and we already went down that road with Boots and Brian Norman Sr. They ain't ready to fight right now. We already know that regards to what he say. That fight ain't ready right now. That's a big money fight down the line. I think, and sometimes you gotta build that fight up. And I ain't saying it's gonna take 5 years, but the boy just got a belt. He did. And Boots, it ain't like he been, he just not getting his first real good fight. So it take time. It take time to build these real fights and get these guys in the ring. It's a lot easier said than done. And if I'm Brian Norman Sr., I'm not gonna let my son be the sap to get his belt and go straight out there and go fight the best guy in the division, trying to prove no point, unless my son gonna be the A side, and that ain't gonna happen. Not right now. So I wouldn't even look in that direction. Why would I go somewhere and be the B side, when I can be the A side somewhere else? That shit do matter. It do matter. So now that fight, if I'm his father, I don't want that fight. I think Mario Barrios got a belt too. Don't quote me on that, but even if he don't, that's a good solid fight for Brian Norman Jr. next, in my opinion. But that's it for me on this video. If you like the video, hit like or subscribe. Till next time, it's your boy Spill Dog. I'm out.